Let's talk to Rupert Bell, talkTV's royal correspondent. He's on the Cornbury Park estate. Rupert, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
I mean, it was an incredibly momentous, historic and almost very emotional moment. I mean, I know that you were obviously involved in the coverage of it, so I pretty much know where you were. But, I mean, I wonder if you thought about the sort of incredibly, historic, momentous nature of what had just happened. I don't think we all did. We didn't really realise, I think, for a few days until afterwards, how the world would change.
Yeah, and I think because, as one of your viewers said in that message, we just thought she would be around forever. There she, 96 years of age, just 2 days before her death, there she was being photographed with Liz Truss in Balmoral and carrying on as normal. Of course, we did know that she was getting increasingly frail. We'd seen at the Platinum Jubilee her appearances kept to just 2. At the beginning and the end. We know also it was a huge struggle for her to actually manage to even fulfill those, but she was determined to do her duty to the end, and I think that's the thing that made her stand out. She just got on with it. She knew what she was here to do, and that was to serve her country. And actually, I think it's significant that in the King's statement reflecting on the year of the anniversary of his mother's death, to say that he is to serve us all, and that was very much her view. And it's not just a monarch for the few, but it was the monarch for everyone, and that very much is the key message I think the King wants to get over, that it's business as usual as we reflect once again on the Queen's contribution to the history of this country.
Absolutely. Well, let's have a look at King Charles's statement that he made just a little while ago.
In marking the first anniversary of Her late Majesty's death and my accession, we recall with great affection her long life, devoted service, and all she meant to so many of us. I am deeply grateful, too, for the love and support that has been shown to my wife and myself during this year, as we do our utmost to be of service to you all.
And I think Charles, in that sense, probably speaks for us all. Front page of the Sun is the same, still in all our hearts. And I think, it's been a very low-key anniversary, I suppose, Rupert, and that's the way that the royal family wanted it to be.
And in many ways, probably the Queen would want it to be. No fuss, no bother, just get on with it. And the getting on with it is now, it's the King's turn to be our head of state. And look, it's been, there's talk, how much he's relished finally getting it, but obviously when he gets the job, he gets it in difficult circumstances, the death of his mother. But he has just put a steady hand on the tiller over these last 12 months. It's not always been straightforward. There have been problems to deal with, not only internal, but obviously there's the political issues as well of what is the state of the Commonwealth going forward. He's got to manage all that and try and leave a monarchy that is continuing to be seen as fit for purpose in a new age Britain, where there seems to be an awful lot of going on. Can the monarchy act as a uniting force to try and bring this country together?
Yes, which is kind of an ironic thought in itself when you think of the fact that the royal family isn't even together. Looking at the front pages this morning, Prince Harry comes to London without his wife. Prince William goes to Bournemouth. He's in Dorset, hundreds of miles away. He's in Wales today. Charles is in Scotland. I mean, they're all in separate places on this day of supposed unification.
Well, I think, in a way, the Prince and Princess of Wales going to Wales, I think it's probably a very good thing, going to St David's, a church, a cathedral that was dear to the Queen's heart. I think there's a sovereign's chair in there reflecting her passion for the cathedral in the smallest city in Britain. And I think for them to go and mark the occasion, I think is a significant moment. As of course, we now have a new Prince and Princess of Wales, so they're marking it in the country, as I say, at St David's. For the other members of the royal family, yes, they are in Balmoral. Some are doing other things today in a private capacity. And so, they're just trying to be a business as usual approach to it. But of course, there will be, as we know, there are going to be salutes in memory of her at various places, in Tower of London indeed, and in Hyde Park later on today. So the occasion is being marked. But in terms of the family, they want to get on and just say, right, we're continuing to operate in the new Carolean era but we will all, like any family would do, you know, that first year, you mark it, you remember that first year, and they are no different to any other family who is grieving a much-loved lost relative.
Although I suppose there is a certain irony about Harry, isn't there? Because Harry's come back to the country. People forget that he was in the country, of course, when the Queen did pass away, but he wasn't planning to go and see her in Balmoral. And in fact, he had to sort of race up there, and there was a bit of controversy about whether he could go with Meghan or not. He ended up getting there, and it was a bit too late, but it was a bit too late for everyone. But here he is back in the country. He's off to Dusseldorf to do the Invictus Games. His wife didn't come with him. Last night he talked about how the Queen would be looking down and being so happy that we're all together. But he's not together with his own family. We're not even sure if Meghan is now coming to Dusseldorf. He said she was sorry she couldn't be in Britain. A lot of people would suggest that that's probably slightly untrue. What do you think?
I think there was no surprise him going to the WellChild Awards.
Right.
He is a committed patron of that. So there's nothing, it just so happens that when they have this award ceremony, it has fallen around the Queen's death. So it's always going to be a point of reference. But clearly, you know, when he was saying that statement, you do just sense the bigger picture of it. Yes, she would be deeply proud of his work with WellChild, which is a significant charity that does a lot of great work, and Harry has had a long-standing involvement in that. So it is good to see him doing what he used to do and offering, you know, for people who were there, he would have made a big impact. It would have been significant. But of course, we do know the soap opera that is the Harry and Meghan show, it would have been a big sideshow if Meghan had turned up there. It would have dominated, where perhaps the main focus should be remembering the Queen, and he made reference to it last night in that awards ceremony. So I think it is important. Meghan being here would have just added a new dimension to it. Yes, whether she goes to Dusseldorf, supposedly she's going to be at the closing ceremony for it. Again, something that is hugely significant in Harry's life and what he was passionate about when he set it up in 2014. So it's good to see him doing things that he is very comfortable with and has made a big contribution. Just it's a shame now that it has to be a bit piecemeal, and there's always a sort of overhanging subplot to the story and narrative to whatever he does.
Yes. And also, if the narrative of Meghan Markle's appearance anywhere is that she will always be the focus of the story, then presumably we'll never see her again anywhere near Britain.
Well, I never say never, but at the moment, I don't think she's rushing to board a plane to come to Britain, because she knows that it's a complicated scenario for her and for Harry. Because the last time we saw him, of course, was when he was appearing at that court case with his various court cases that he has at the moment, which suing various organisations. So it's a complicated one for them to manage correctly. But we wish that, you know, I'm sure everybody wants to see the Invictus Games continue to be a success, and Harry at the heart of it. And obviously the documentary came out recently, which again attracted some sort of negative headlines as well. So, you know, he's in a very difficult position to turn the story into a positive at all times, even though he is at the moment doing things that mean a lot to him and has in the past achieved great success for those various organisations.
Indeed. Rupert, thanks very much indeed. Good to talk to you. Rupert Bell, reporting into talkTV's royal correspondent there, of course, on the one-year anniversary of the Queen's death.